All right, good morning to Philadelphia Walks PTSD. My name is Sharon Cole, or Sharon, or Cole, whatever you want to refer to me as, doesn't matter. I've been called everything under the sun and don't care. So anyway, I am here on day 54 of my one video each day, 365-day campaign to raise money, find donors, big and small, short and tall, to make up for a life stolen, a soul damaged through severe, extreme, and ridiculous, absurd tactics of harassment, death threats, and so much more, but sophisticated enough, even though I think that people are dumb, sophisticated enough so that no one source could be named per se, should I try to seek justice. It's incredibly difficult to seek justice for something this large, this mammoth, if you will. I was made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment the fourth Monday of January 2011. Happened to be that we had crazy, insane weather that year. In fact, I never would have used the word insane or crazy during the time that I was being tortured, because I was raised to a level of sensitivity that I didn't even want to hear those words because it would harm my brain. So other people did this. Other people carried out an attack upon me that's in the realm of, are you kidding? This is in plain sight. How do I prove it? Who's going to help me? You try to get help. People don't know what to do. They're either lying, they're all evil, or I don't know what to say. But you can't, the people who carry this out technically are too skilled or too knowledgeable in the world of criminality, and they would know exactly what they could do in order to get away with it. That's that. So I was made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment the fourth Monday of January 2011. There was a series of events that kicked off, if you will, that sort of put me in a state of like, whoa, I believe someone was coming up to break into my door to actually murder me. I thought it would be the last night of my life. And if that weren't enough, in addition to the weather and the blizzards, we had record blizzards that year, the games commenced, and all the people who I sort of met in the years leading up to 2011 behaved in the opposite way than one would expect. They were unsupportive, and they weren't overly helpful, and or they would try to make it seem like it was my issue, as if I had some sort of mental issue. I am at the point now that I actually believe people don't have mental issues. I actually think people who are extremely harmful cause environments and situations and scenarios, create all kinds of whirlwinds of activity around people in order to make someone appear mentally disabled. So in a normal, good, stable world where people don't harm people, then no one would have to deal with mental illness. But anyway, with that said, I will talk about something that went on in addition to the millions of other things, because it's in the realm of who's doing it, what kind of jobs do they have, what kind of privileges do they have that they didn't earn, clearly, because they're using power in a way that is hurting other people. If you have the privilege to be in a certain position, you need to use it to help people. Aren't we about raising the world up and creating a better place? These people used privilege. It's almost as if privileges were handed out like candy to irresponsible idiots who don't know the full truth about anything, and they're willing to hurt someone. I will readily admit, I don't know everything. And many years, I'm like, there's a whole bigger picture here. I don't know what's going on. The thing is, I don't hurt people in order to try to figure out all the truths of the reality of the world. People were willing to actually harm me and trick me in ways that are so sick and sadistic. I know that Satan is waiting with bated breath and salivating teeth for these people. And I'm not even religious, but it's the only hope that I have to hold on to of, are you kidding with how far these people went? The activity that can occur can also come across invisibly, if you will. It's hard to explain, and this is how they get to be above the law. So people are above the law when they can carry out things because they know the law so much that they know no one can really seek justice for it. They can't get arrested if someone's a jackass every day at work. At best, maybe they'll be penalized at work or moved to a different department, but even that doesn't occur that often. So anyway, other things happen that are way above the law, because no one can ever get caught for whatever this is, unless there are other people in the invisible realm, the supernatural realm, or the realm of intelligence, and I guess CIA. I have no idea what these people would be capable of, but I was shown things, and it's like, how did they do that? So you know how, like, maybe your sunglasses will go missing, and you're like, I swear I put them here. I swear I put my keys here. Or maybe someone else in the house kind of knows. I've wound up living alone most of my life, as you know, after leaving the nest per se. I was back and forth for quite a while. It took me a while to finally be able to try to find independence. But anyway, point being, I've lived alone so much that there's no one in the house who can either remember where I put things or to blame or what have you. But point being, there are big things that occurred that concern me when it comes to what can be done invisibly. Are there portholes where things can be traversed through? Could someone's brain actually be erased, just like the Spotless Mind movie? I think so. I have a biggie here. In 2017, I have a client who gave birth to a second child. Apparently, somehow, I don't recall this. I get an email that was like backdated or like dated a certain way. And it's like, all of a sudden I open it up. I'm like, why didn't I open up this email before? This was after I got away from dog walking and was trying to sort of make my way down to Florida. So I had to there's a whole series of events that caused me to, as a dog walker, for many years, kind of trapped in dog walking. And some have an argument for human trafficked through dog walking, because I couldn't figure out how to get out of dog walking. It was supposed to be a temporary job, a temporary fix before I would move to the Pacific Northwest, possibly. But anyway, I was sort of escorted out of dog walking. We will now go over here and possibly send you to Florida, because whatever is going on is so messed up and whack that it needs to be done, dragged underground here. So I have a client who she and her husband, I walked dogs for their dog, for many, many, many years. And I recall them getting married. In fact, I ran a marathon. I ran a half marathon on the day of their wedding. And I was doing an overnight at their house. And this was back in the day when ING rock and roll. So even after being terrorized, I still kept going with things that I'd already planned, because I didn't know how to stay still. I was so freaked out, and I kept doing things even though I was heightened into a state of frantic, what have you. So I remember them getting married, and I remember my client, I remember them, getting pregnant and having their first child, and I remember all of it. But what I don't remember is her being pregnant a second time. What I do remember is that her sister-in-law was pregnant a second time, because I walked for both of them. The in-law, I walked her and her husband's dog like more part-time and on a come and go basis. It wasn't a daily basis, but on a daily basis, I walked a dog for these clients. I do not remember her being pregnant at all. In fact, I recall thinking, oh, I wonder if she's a little bit like jealous because her sister-in-law had a second child and they're still sort of only there with the first child. And these are very family-oriented people. And I know people are human, so it's like, oh, wait a minute, they had their second child, now we have to catch up and have ours, And I kind of wondered that for a brief second. So time-wise, in the timeline, which I think timelines can be manipulated or people's brains can be erased or manipulated. And that's scary when you think about the world of justice and what can be taken out of a person's brain or put in order to put someone behind bars or so forth. I worry about the dark world of prison and stuff like that, because so many threats come up to make me feel scared. Oh, we're going to make you look like a terrorist. It's weird how it happens. And if you don't experience this, then it seems like I can see where people would be skeptical. But if you would know if stuff started happening. You're like, why am I worrying about this now? Because I know it's sent. But come across an email after I left these clients, and they were announcing, it was an old email though that I'd never opened, announcing the birth of their second child. And I spent, 48 hours when was she pregnant? Because I would have been there when she was pregnant before having this child, and I don't recall any of that. Here's the worst of it. I am wondering if it's fake. If they would go that far in their little circle, and they could be part of a small ring, if you will, if they are willing to make it seem like she had a second child, to play into all this craziness. That one really, that was a biggie that bothered me, because when did she have the second child? I don't remember her being pregnant. I was there. I should remember. Don't remember. I don't even know if they actually have a real second child. That's how bad that is. I want to know how far people will go to trick people and to make them feel like something's wrong with their own brains or what have you. There are smaller instances of when I was in Florida, I started substitute teaching, and there was a day when I was, I had to wait out before I would show up. It was a half-day substitute teaching job or slot, if you will. So I kind of was like hanging out for a little bit before driving down, because this school happened to be a little bit out of a distance, at Hawthorne School or something down in south of Gainesville, or so forth and so on. So somewhere along the line, I lost my phone. And I was trying to retrace my steps. Like, where could my phone possibly have gone? It's extremely rare for me to not know where my phone is. But it made me worry, because things that were downloaded to my brain, and what I was threatened with since 2011 is that, oh, you want to go to therapy to try to unload stuff that kept you oppressed, inappropriate stuff from upbringing and so forth and so on. The dark side of the universe will reverse it. Oh, we're going to make you look like you're inappropriate with kids. I didn't even want to get a job as a substitute teacher because it's around kids. But I was so desperate that it's like, I don't know what else to do. And it's kind of easy. If you have a degree, you don't even have to have a degree. They will pay people who might be pursuing any degree. You can be a substitute teacher just as a normal citizen, just a little FYI. That's how bad the school system is. No offense to people, but I'm just saying, they're so desperate out there. But anyway, it's easier-ish to get a job as a substitute teacher, so I went ahead and applied. Because I know I'm not a bad person, but the universe kept trying to scare me. Maybe because I spoke up in the privacy of a confidential therapy office about trying to come out from under the oppression, the control of people who love to control people, and sexual predators control people, period. It is one of the top forms of control over another person. So I was afraid to get that job, but I looked for whatever job I could get, and that seemed to be one of the easier ones. On top of that, lost my phone. So then I'm thinking, oh, did someone do like a time portal manipulation of a timeline and make my phone disappear? And then I'm afraid it's in like, a cubicle for 20 years from now to say Exhibit A, presenting Exhibit A or whatever you call it. Here we have a phone that we found and say someone created a whole case around someone, and there's that phone that went missing 20 years ago, and they're just waiting. That's what I've been threatened with in invisible ways, because people can send messages to your brain, period. I never thought about this kind of stuff before. I was on a whole other track. Ooh, let me figure out how I can advance my writing career. Let me figure out how I can... My brain was way over here in a whole dark universe of morons and idiots, sorry to use these words, create so much fear and paranoia that they will actually find, and they can do it, they can find a way to make your phone go missing. And most people are like, well, I must have left it. I went to various places. Did you guys find a phone? I went to places that I normally would have gone, but I didn't go to that many places except for like a coffee shop to fill out resumes or applications and stuff all the time, always looking for work. In addition, I've had sunglasses go missing. So lately I was wearing these sunglasses, like, oh, I love that song with Miley Cyrus. I'm going to put these sunglasses on. They happen to be free sunglasses from the Eagles pep rally. And I was walking two dogs the other day, and I kept putting the glasses. So this seems more likely. I kept putting them like in my collar because I needed to see or open the dog bags or what have you. And I was pretty sure it was always right there. And I start to come back home after returning the dogs, and it's like, oh, where are the glasses? And originally I thought, well, I must have dropped them here or there. But there were so many things going on the street playing into the sunglass thing, including as I return home, and these, whoever they are, they can make you notice things. So things will be heightened. So as I'm coming back, I see a guy in a Capital One coffee shop at the bottom of the building, and he was wearing Eagles sunglasses, the free ones from the pep rally. And I had to notice him and not the three other people in the window. You see what I mean? I noticed him, not other people, on purpose. That's how sick it gets. So then I start worrying about the sunglasses, and somehow it always folds into presenting your honor, Exhibit A. Now we found these sunglasses, and clearly Sharon's the murderer of, that's how bad it gets. I've never done anything in my entire life bad to anyone except for distance myself from people in order to gain control and feel like I'm in control of my own life. But they will keep going with these storylines and scare people, use fear tactics. Oh, we can create portal holes and manipulate the timeline and make you forget stuff, and then you're missing stuff. Also, what went missing was I had a $5 Patagonia hat that was similar to this, but higher quality, but I got it at City Sports when it was going out of business sale. And then it turned into Modell's, and now it's empty. I guess because of the pandemic and everything else, and I guess the riots, I have no idea what made them close. I don't know where the hat went, but I felt like someone else couldn't stand that hat and made sure I lost it. There's so many more instances of where did that go? And it's like, another one, while I was pursuing an MFA, and I pursued that out of duress, because I was hoping to escape whatever it was that was clamped down, whatever thing started or mixed up my world in 2011. It's like, how do I get out? If I go over here, I could get an MFA. I don't want the student loans or anything that goes with it, but is it a ticket out? And if I go to New York twice a week to pursue this thing, will I see that New York is different than Philadelphia? Turns out stuff goes on anywhere. I don't know how it's fixed, but I was frustrated because we workshop people's manuscripts, and there was a manuscript that I had been working on at night, and they're trying to make me believe I fell asleep and put it under my pillow. But here's the dealio. Somebody messed with my brain. I didn't have the manuscript. It wasn't a big deal, but I had all these comments on the manuscript, and I wanted to be able to contribute to the workshop that evening. And I was trying to remember, what did I say about this guy's writing? And all kinds of things were floating in the air that night in the class. And I'm like, where did I put that thing? I come home, all through my backpack, all through my belongings. For a couple nights, even sleeping on the pillow on my bed, never found the manuscript. All of a sudden, I lift up my pillow one day, and there's the manuscript. So you mean to tell me, it sounds like a lawyer in a courtroom, but so you mean to tell me that all the nights, and I sleep on my stomach, so my arms are usually up under the pillow, or I hug the pillow a little bit, that I never felt that manuscript under my pillow for 4 nights, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many nights. But I just got the number 4 because I know they're feeding me. I know someone's saying, just say 4. That's the difference. People don't know that they're fed, and they don't know what the right information is. I know that I was in fear for most of these cases, or frustration, because it scares me that people can erase your brain or make sure you forget things or help you lose things, that someone else is in control. In normal life, most of us are like, oh my God, where did I put the keys? And somehow the wife knows where the keys are, unless the wife is a gaslighter and moved the keys on purpose, knowing that you would have to spend an extra 10 minutes, You see what I mean? Getting out the door the next morning. Now, I don't have anyone else normally in my surroundings, so then it would go to who in the universe, and then someone would say, well, God wanted you to be late, or God didn't want you to have it. Is it God, or are there darker entities messing with people? Because God usually doesn't put fear in, right? Like if you want to go religious, God wouldn't make you feel like, well, guess what? If you're going to wind up in a criminal case, you could wind up going to jail for murder, terrorists, bombing a car, looking like some sort of sexual predator, and this, that, and the other. Even the thing with Subway sandwiches and that guy, Jared, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, this guy, Jared, winds up. So a universe could be creating enough doubt. Like some nice guy, Jared, gets, winds up going to jail for porn ring stuff or what have you, or, child porn or whatever on his laptop or this, that, and the other. And it makes even the Elmo guy. Then there was an Elmo guy, and even Charlie Rose from NPR, and then he moved over to there were people who have been accused who don't fit what I know as people who control other people. I am used to very specific personalities that control other people. I already know certain people are sexual predators and could potentially manipulate little girls and young women to do his bidding. It's too easy for a lot of certain types of men to do that. They are used to controlling other people, period. I am used to being controlled, period. So we have people who were named, and I want to know if they were trying to create doubt or if those people actually were guilty. Even Bill Cosby, I had a question about. I was like, you're kidding. The father in the brownstone in Brooklyn of that show that's so great and perfect and promoted all that healthiness, Jell-O pudding pop for kids. Was it real or was it orchestrated? Or are they trying to make innocent people look bad? I even questioned Michael Jackson. And I'm someone who actually knows that there are sexual predators. So what's going on? I want to know why the people who are actual sexual predators, who lord their bodies over small women or young ladies or young women, girls, teenagers, what have you. I want to know why they get to have a free life while other people who are nicer are like being wrangled in. I want to know if it's real or fake. And the problem is, what I do know is people can insert and take stuff out. But real victims who have actually been victimized never get justice while they create other scenarios. I want to know if Jared was actually guilty, but it made me worry because I've had so many weird glitches happen, and it's like, how much money do you have to spend? How many people do you have to contact or whatever to make sure there's never any viruses or glitches or this, that, and the other? I just anytime something happens on my laptop or my phone, I report it to the FBI. Every single time. Well, this happened today and that's not normal. Just in case, I'm going to report it because I have actually feared that people would actually try to make me look like, there's some sort of weird, that someone could insert stuff into your laptop. I'm not normally a paranoid person, but whatever started in 2011 creates paranoia and makes good people worry about looking like bad people. Who is towing the line for actual bad people? So that victims go on thinking they're going to flip the universe and make all good people look bad and bad people look good. So anyway, the activity needs to end. All the people who think they can control people need to stop it. All the people who orchestrate need to stop it. I don't care what your agenda is, it needs to end. Thank you. And stop inserting and taking stuff out. I wonder if she actually did have that second child, Dylan, or if it was fake.